There we go. Microphone is working. Alright. I'm doing a game dev stream. Check it out, I'll show you what we got so far. Okay, we got these enemies spawn in waves. Right now you can just... Oh hey, got a new person. So, here's my little game. Can you guys hear me alright? Not too quiet? It's good. Alright. Well, as you can see, I'm making this little tower defense game. Thank you. So you've got these little ranged enemies which currently don't have any animations, and then these guys which also don't have animations yet. And then we've got these short range turrets, these little force field things, and then these longer range turrets. Yeah, I see you. Anyway, I think what I'm gonna try to do right now is just get some good lighting up. It's probably just start with this guy, core. I'm just gonna set up some basic 2D lights for him. Let's see what I can do with this. I'd say this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna give it like a bluish tint, I think would be good. Like a greenish. That looks nice. Next I'm gonna go to each of the enemies, this guy and this guy. Let's give this basic one an orange tint. Hello. doing a game dev stream for the Wowie Jam. Voice reveal, I guess. It's going alright. Should I turn down the latency? Kind of a bit more of discussion. Yeah, it has been a long time. I was making music before, and now I'm all the way up to making games. Quite the journey. Alright, I think that those orange pinky lights are looking good. I'm gonna make these force fields as temporary art. Look at this guy, give him a blue looking light. No, I didn't stop making music, I just don't really post it much anymore. I just kind of stop posting it. I don't make it as much, but I still do make some music. Yeah, just got kind of tired of posting it. Oh, he's got the wrench because he's a moderator. I don't know if I trust you to be a moderator. Yep. There we go. All my buildings, they got these little blue lights now. It's subtle. Yeah, I like that. I like the pink lights. They're off center. Yeah, I'm using that profile picture now. I felt like it was time for an upgrade. It's definitely a good picture. Thank you. My name's not that. That's a lie. Unfortunately. I'd like to add a background of some sort to this. Yeah. Hold on, I'll tell you about the game in 1 sec. I'm just gonna add a background for the lights to reflect on. Let's just keep it at that dark red color. Alright, so basically, this game is a tower defense. So all of the enemies, they're gonna come down at you from the top, and their goal is to destroy this little core here. The theme of the jam is collaborate with AI. So the way that me and my teammate implemented that is that you've got this tower here that is randomly selected by your AI. I will eventually add an algorithm to figure out maybe there's a lot of enemies, so it'll try to give you more attacking towers. It's just to help. The AIs just kind of help you so you don't have to make any decisions. And I think it's an alright implementation of the theme. I'm not sure how good it actually is, but it doesn't feel too bad. So yes, it is a tower defense. Why do you want me to say Tyrone egg binning? Alright, that's looking much nicer. There we go. Now these are glowing. This is looking a lot better, a lot nicer now. I suppose I can decrease the intensity of this a little bit. I guess you will play this. If you, yeah, once it's done, I'd gladly have you play it. I'm just trying to figure out what to do next here. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of post-processing. Gotta find some good effects. Yep, making this in Unity. Yeah, this is just the first day of progress. There will be we get 3 days total. So I think I'm doing alright. I've got an artist who's he's in quite a different time zone, so it makes this a little tricky. You haven't been doing much lately. You're planning on getting back to it? I like your stuff. It's got a very unique tone to it. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's very recognizable, and I like that. You definitely were getting pretty good. That sucks. What have you been doing? Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling creative block sometimes too. This game is pretty fun, so let's see if maybe I can pull together something. I need to better implement the theme of collaborating with AI. Cause right now this little AI guy is not doing much. The player pretty much does all the work. I'm probably gonna have him like grow out little special towers that do special things or something like that. Yeah. I feel like that too. Last summer I was really feeling that. Thank you. I go way over with Bloom on all my games. Let's add a motion blur. Alright, maybe this wasn't the best project to add motion blur on. I'm gonna take that off. Nothing's really going fast enough that you can see it. What's this? Ooh, I like that. Can reduce the temperature. Give everything a bluish look to it. I like that. Let's see how it turns out. Let's see how each of the towers are looking. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, I'm not actually I'm not sure. Is it better with it on or off? I think I'm gonna keep most of these effects off for now. I'm kind of stuck here. Not sure. I will probably... Just looking at my to-do list here. I think I'm gonna improve the AI to determine your next tower type. So currently it's just... Here, let me change screens real quick. I'm just gonna set up a new display quickly. Alright, that's looking good. So let's see. It should go right to Unity, right back. Okay. So currently all this is doing is giving me a random one of these tower placement infos. Yeah. Which isn't very helpful, which means the AI is not really helping me, it's just doing kind of random stuff. So I'm just gonna add a few checks here. Like if the game manager and I'm just gonna add a few checks for enemy count. So let's say if the count of the current enemies is less than 15, that's probably a pretty good time to give me maybe a new tower that maybe produces some electricity. So I'll take tower number 3. Otherwise, maybe there's a few more enemies. This is all just going to be hard-coded for now, and then I can go over it later again. Oh, hello, new person. I said that a little weird, but, so I'm making a tower defense. I'll go over it with you in a second. I'm just gonna cache this integer enemy count, and because this is quite a long thing to type out every time. So yes, I'm making a tower defense where you collaborate with an AI. There's not a whole lot to see right now. But I'm getting there, sorry. It's a little difficult to talk. Let's go with towers and random. Wowie indeed. So here I'm actually just starting to code a very simple version of the AI. So we've got our money-making tower here. If there's not very many enemies, you're more likely to get a money-making tower. Whereas if there's a lot of enemies, more likely to get a weapon, and even more, you're more likely to get one of these. One of shield tower, I guess is what I'd call it. So here at the top, there's a very small chance that you will get your money-making tower, because these are your two. 0 and 1 are your two regular old shooting towers, and then here's your shield tower. Currently, no money-making tower exists, which is why I've left that part out. But it will in a second. If you want to see, yeah, if you'd like to see the gameplay, here's a short look at it. Let me just full screen this for you. Basically, you're here. You can move the camera around however you'd like. And you can place down these towers. So here's one that shoots far. Here's one that shoots a little slow, or a little faster, but with a little less range. And then here's a force field to protect your towers, because these pink enemies have quite the range to their attacks. As you can see, it's not very balanced at the moment. There we go. But at least I've got something. I think before I dive any deeper into the AI, I've got to actually come up with a goal for the game. I think maybe the goal should be, because I'm not good at these ideas. I'm going to give the player a bar here at the bottom of the screen, and their goal is going to be to fill that up with energy. Something like that. Just see what's fun. Let's call this power bar. Let's put this at the bottom of the screen. I think a regular image will work. Actually, I've already set up a health bar in here. Just copy these two things. But yeah, if you have anything interesting or any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Let's give this 200 width. Now this is kind of an ugly color, so I'd like to switch it to something a little more appealing. See how that looks. So as it fills up with light blue, I guess you gotta start somewhere. And I will just add the health bar to that. And let's call that power. Let's get our UI manager here. Let's give him access to the health bar component. And let's call that power bar. And then inside the game manager class, I'm just going to add public void and maybe just something like update power or change power. And here, power. Flow amount. And maybe you can level up or something, so I'll do power amount. And of course UI manager instance, and then I'll create a method here. Update power bar. With flow for max power. Max power. And let's make a max power variable. So here's our private flow. Max power, and let's just make that 100 to start. Power and max power. And then maybe right here, if the power level is greater than or equal to the max power level, then we can set our power back to 0. And let's create one more float here for our level up increase. And let's just make that multiplier. And I will make that, let's just start with 2. Every time you level up, it's going to be twice as hard to level the next time, so max power multiplies equals level up increase multiplier. And you know, let's use integer to represent power, because there's no reason to use a float to do that. Power, max power, and level up increase multiplier. Oop. Integer and integer. And then we can do equals thrown to int. And let's do max power times this. So that will change our power. And I think just a simple bar will probably be pretty difficult to tell how close you are to leveling up. So I'm gonna add some numbers here. So just create a little section here for the visuals. Can do that, and then I'm going to call this. Where's that text? Right here. You, sir, are going to anchor all the way to the left. Let's make this an appropriate size, like 500 looks good. Yep, that's looking good. And I'd like to say that that's a pretty good spot for it. There we are. That's looking pretty good. And here's our progress text. And let's get the UI manager capability to edit that. So text mesh pro, progress text, and we can do progress text dot text is equal to power dot toString plus slash plus max power toString. And that should hopefully do it. Just got to assign here and assign here. And to test this out, I'm just gonna do if input down, and let's just say Q is gonna change my power by a negative number. And let's say that E is gonna change it by a positive number, just to test it and see if it's working. You guys can hear the music in the background, right? Alright, so that's looking good, and when I get to 100, there we go. I leveled up, and now if I hit it a few more times, there we go. It's going to take a little bit more time to level up. All the way there. And of course I can't go negative yet, but I don't think that'll matter. So that's looking good. Now let's make a way to get power. I'm thinking maybe little towers. Let's just make a little temporary sprite for that. Let's get a new 16 by 16 here. And I'm just gonna make this like a pinkish color, just so we know this is temporary. There we go, M. Let's save this. Let's call this power generator. That's looking good. Okay. Let's copy this one. I can unpack this prefab. Get rid of this. Get rid of change that one. Get rid of this. Make this a nice pinkish color. And that is looking good. Let's call this power tower. And let's create a new script for that. Structures. let's say that each power tower, all it does is it gives you, let's just say it gives you a certain amount of power. So let's do an integer for, I don't know, well, let's just say they give you 25 power. Seems like a good amount. Let's do 20. 5 to level up once. Yep, that seems good. Now this is going to be a structure. Oh, messed that up. Let me just check quickly. I'd like to override on enable. I forgot something. Alright, no problem. I'll be right back. Alright, I'll still be here. So we can do our base on enable, and then I'd like to access our game manager. Game manager's instance, and let's just add some power to that guy. And then we can override, and on our disable method, we can do the base, and we can also game manager.instance.change power, and we can do that negative. So now when I place that tower, it should just give me 20 power. Let's get that. Let's get this guy into our scene. I can add the power component. Let's give these should be pretty weak. Let's just give them 5 health. Can apply that. Go to the game manager here. The wrong thing. Go to the tower manager. And I have to add a new tower shop object. So I'm going to call this power tower. The game object is going to be our power tower, and the prefab can be power generator, and the size is just going to be 1 by 1. Doesn't have to be too big yet. Let's add this to the list and put it at the beginning. Actually, if I recall here, tower manager assumes that that would be at the end. So let's bring it back to the end. Alright, now we can see if this is gonna work. 3 viewers. Not bad. Alright. And there's our power tower. So I'd like to place that one here. And we've got 20 power. Let's do another one. We've got 40 power. And let's see if this guy up here comes and breaks it. Should lose that power, which is good. That's exactly what we want. And there he goes and breaks the last one. Now I'm not sure if you should unlevel up if they're broken and you've already leveled up, or if you shouldn't. But just for this, I'm gonna say you're not gonna unlevel up. You're gonna keep whatever bonus you had. That seems fair to me. Yeah, that seems fair. Okay. Next on my to-do list. I mean, I guess let's figure out what upgrading actually gives you. So now I can upgrade, and that's all fine, that's all good, it's working. But what does upgrading give you? I mean, first I guess I should make a... Let's get a private integer here for, I guess, our level. That's gonna start at 0. And here we're just gonna level plus plus. Level's gonna go up 1. Now, I'm not sure what level bonus should give you, because obviously if you start losing here, you're not gonna be able to level up and you're gonna keep losing. So I'm not sure if it should be a bonus. It's a tricky thing to balance. Let's just play for a second here. So here's my power tower. I'm gonna put that way in the back. That gives me 20. So like here, I've already got this big empire of stuff. Alright, like if they were to come break this, I've basically already lost. So I'm not sure what kind of reward having power should give. Alright, maybe power is essential. Maybe for every building you place, it costs power. That seems good. I'm gonna change this next up text, and instead this is gonna have the cost in power. Alright. I'm back. Okay. So, I guess let's give our UI manager, next to this, next to the next tower icon, let's give the text mesh pro, and let's make this cost text. And this cost text, update this with that, and we'll give it an integer for cost. And then the cost text can just dot text will equal cost to string. And then let's just add a little thing here. Power. So everyone knows that it's power that they're spending. Or even better, I could add a little symbol, but I can do that later. I'm gonna keep the level up system because maybe eventually you can level up and you can unlock better towers which cost more energy. But for now, I'm also gonna default this value to 50 because I feel like 20 is way too little. But now let's go over to... I've got so many tabs open. I can get rid of this one. I can get rid of that one probably for right now. That one and that one. Okay. So my tower placement info, I'm going to give it a public integer, and that's going to be the cost in power. Oh, what's this? Oh, anyway. Next tower. And I'm just going to pass in the cost to this function and the cost to this function, this method. And I should be able to just validate that before you buy one. So just in addition to needing a spot open and game manager dot instance dot, and then I need in addition to a change power, I'll also take public integer and I'll just get the power. And this will just be a really simple return. Actually, a little cleaner way to do this is I can just create a property here. So public integer power, and I will just get that. And I'll move all of these down. This level isn't going to be used for anything yet, but I'll come back to that. Let's just use this little tool. And get that. Nope, alright. Find power, replace power. So close. Okay, I'll just do it myself. Hold on. Bear with me. Okay, that's looking good. So now before you purchase this power minute, before you purchase something, it's just going to check if the game manager's, if the current amount of power you have is less than or equal to the cost. So the next tower's cost. And if so, update and change the power. Change. Yeah, let's do game manager instance dot change power, and let's change it based on the next tower's cost as well, but this time decreasing because you just bought it. And we're going to do that before we select a new tower. And then finally, after we've decreased the cost, if a tower, a structure here, is destroyed, if a structure is destroyed, we can refund that cost. Hold on. Cost is in here, but it's not part of the prefab. Huh, alright. I have to think about this for a second. So structures aren't aware of their own cost. I'll just do this. So they'll just have a public integer for their cost, or even this can be private. I'm not using this. Then I can just say public void set cost, passing in the integer for the new cost, and cost is equal to new cost. And then here in on disable, I will just game manager dot instance. Once again, I should probably do something about that, but it's fine. And I can refund it the cost. And then here on enable, I will subtract the cost, just in case maybe you get. Actually, I don't think I'm ever going to be reviving buildings, so That should be fine how it is. And let me just assign this cost text in here. And hopefully this should go without any errors. So that one costs 0, which it does because I never actually assigned them. I'm gonna say this one costs, this is what, like a long range tower. It's gonna be 25. Maybe this faster one is 20, let's make this 20. And this force field tower is gonna be a little more expensive at like 35, and the power tower itself is gonna be free, because you gotta start somewhere. It's looking good. Now I'm just gonna make it start. When you start, you're initialized to 100 power. That seems fair. So just here, void start. Let's change this power to. And then I'm just gonna go to the top here and just private constant, and this will be our starting power. And let's just set that to 100. Oops. Constant integer. Starting power. There we go. Hello, Void and X. Voice reveal in this stream. Hey. Got lots of people watching. If anybody is interested, here is a little peek at the game. Let's say you start with 80 power. You can't start with 100 because then you'll level up. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Sorry, I didn't see your message. So here's a first look at this. You got here, you got your little computer. You're gonna protect them from these bad guys. You gotta buy these towers, alright. Got my first bug of the stream. It seems can't buy the tower. Let's just check this real quick. Yeah, so this has to be greater than or equal to the next tower's cost, not less than. Alright. Alright, so let's buy 2 of these shields. See, and now I'm stuck. This is where the AI kind of sucks, because now I can't buy anything, but progress is being made. I think that's an issue just with the AI and not actually the... Not actually the balancing. So I'm just gonna say down here, just at the bottom, or maybe at the top here, if I'm calling on the game manager a lot here. Whatever. If the game manager's instance, and then let's get power, or just power is less than, let's say, 25, less than or equal to 25. You need more power, so I'm going to be generous and give you a free power tower. So that's, what is that? Towers number 3, I think, is a power. So your selection is this one. And then otherwise you could just take any of these random combat ones or whatever. So, if you guys don't know how the game works, basically, this is a good time for me to show this. I'm just gonna wait for it to run here. Basically, you've got this little guy. This is your AI. You're gonna protect your AI because your AI is what chooses what tower you're gonna place next. So here, I'm placing towers. Thank you. So you've got this guy, shoots quickly. These ones, which will produce power for you. You've got this one, which produces a force field over time, and then you've got one more, which you haven't seen yet. This guy, so a little long range sort of thing. So power's not being refunded when a tower's destroyed. Let's just check that. So change power by the cost. Set cost. Oh, forgot to go in here. And I have to say, okay, so this is a little bit annoying. I've got to get a reference to the game object, so O. It's gonna be our prefab, and then O.get component. Oh. Structure. So there's a few extra steps here. Structure S. Let's just call it. And then S dot. What was it called? Set cost. And this is the next tower's cost. So it can refund the power if it's destroyed. And I'll just wrap all that in a try in case there's an error here. And if there is, I'll just catch and debug log error. There is no component of type, and then structure attached to that prefab. Okay. Hopefully that's all right. So we're gonna spend all this, get some more power. So the AI is already a little bit smart. So he's giving me some power towers if I need them. He's giving me some weapons in between. It's balancing out a little bit. And ultimately you'll be getting these like every 10-20 seconds, not back to back like this. This is just for debugging. Now I'm starting to get overrun. Oh no. Oh crap. Yeah, no, I'm dying here. Hold on, did that just refund the cost negative? Let's try this one more time. I think that just took away, which is obviously not what I want. Oh no, it's refund. Okay. Okay, it seems to be working. I think what it is, the cost leveled me up. So, again, in case you guys didn't hear, these are placeholder assets because this is not, these aren't even close to what's final. It's just that my artist is not available at this moment to making stuff. All of this is placeholder except this guy. This is really cool. I like this. This little computer guy. I added these little wires because I thought it needed some more AI-ness to him. Where are the shields at? I might need to balance that a little bit. Need more of these shields. Less of these power stations. Like, you wouldn't expect these, just these few to take up this much power, but they do. I don't know if you should be able to refund. What do you guys think? Should you be able to refund all of your, like, any of these? Like, if I have this one, like, oh, I don't want that anymore, get rid of it. You know? Because, like, say you misclick and it ends up way back here, it's not very useful to you anymore. But it does kind of add to the strategy, I think. But it can get annoying, especially if you misclick. This is actually really crazy. I'm starting to think here. There's a lot of stuff for not that much power. The shields are rare, which I like. I'm just kind of playing around here, trying to just see what needs balancing. There's gonna be more enemies and stuff like that in the future, but it's pretty good progress for day one, if I'm being honest. Probably my best day one progress. There we go, there's another shield. Okay, so I think the shields need to be a little less rare than that. Oh, had some errors. What's going on there? Objective type image has been destroyed. Yeah, so there's just a very simple algorithm which I'll build on as I add mechanics, that just kind of makes different checks and figures out what it thinks you need. So if you're low in energy, it'll give you energy. If there's a lot of enemies incoming, it'll give you guns. If you've got enough guns, it'll try to give you shields, that kind of thing. It's not even close to being perfect yet, but there is. It's okay. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure about refunding either. Damn, these towers are just not very good. The short range ones, because you get killed by all these long range guys. I'm just gonna make them a little better. Oh, there we go. What is that? Just center. I will probably make a version of this on itch if anybody wants to try it in a couple of hours. I'll be just doing an early access build. What am I most worried about? Like, just in the context of the jam? I'm not really sure. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very good at making fun games. Like, I'm good at making very technically engaging games, but if anything ends up, like, yeah, it for me, it's just difficult to find the fun in a lot of my ideas, and that's probably a bad thing to have for a game designer, but that's just something I'll have to deal with, I guess. Something I'll have to overcome. Let's look at the tower manager here. I want more shields. Well, I'll be releasing early access in probably 1 to 2 hours. So if you guys are down, I'd love for you to chat. I really need that feedback. Let's say if the power is greater than or equal to 65, you'll also have a chance of getting a shield. That seems like a balanced thing. Alright. So, what do you guys think leveling up should give you? Like, I'm kind of torn between making your towers more powerful and unlocking new towers, because there's so much possibility for new towers. Like, I've only made, what is there, 4 here? Like, I could easily just go into paint.net, open this up. I'm gonna do this right now just to prove, just as a proof of concept. Here's my awesome new tower. Let's just even fill this. Give it a design, whatever. Let's call this Big Tower. I don't know what to call it yet. We can rename that later. Big Tower. And I also just want to do this for a little bit of testing here, because I've got a bunch of these 1x1 towers. I'd like to try making a 2x2 tower. Yeah, Big Tower. That's the final name. That's the... You already know. Let's give it like an orangey light, or like a yellowish green. Well, yeah, that's what I'm testing out just right now, is a good like 2x2 tower. Maybe this will be like a really high damage tower or something like that, but it fires really slowly. It's got a range of, yeah, 7 seems balanced. Yeah, so here's our big tower. Because I added capability for larger towers, so if I don't see a reason why this wouldn't work, unless obviously there's a bug in my code. So let's just call this Big Tower. Let's give it this Big Tower. Give it that sprite, and this should be a 2x2, and let's make this pretty expensive. Let's make it a 50. And here, let's just say else if our power is greater than or equal to 80. Then you're gonna get this. You're gonna get either a shield or this big tower, which is gonna be like our crazy powerful one, or whatever you really wanna Think of it as, yeah, exactly, big equals good. Let's see if this will turn out. So here we've got some power. It's gonna take me a little while to get that much power, but we'll see about it. If it's even possible, it might not even. The way I coded it, it might not be possible because they'll just go back and forth here. Yeah, as it goes. Oh, hi. Welcome. I'm just gonna sacrifice some of my towers up here to get more. Okay, the balancing is definitely really far off. But at least there's something here. I screwed that up pretty bad. Okay. There we go. Now I should... Oh, I leveled up. Okay. That's... Okay, if your power is greater than 65, you'll just get any random tower. Let's just do it like this. I know this is probably pretty boring to watch. Ooh, yeah, shockwave tower idea. That's really cool. I like that one. Yeah. Honestly, you're a good idea guy. I envy the idea people. I'm not an idea person. I have bad ideas. Like, for example, I think I'm gonna struggle with making this not repetitive. Like, this is gonna get repetitive fast. I'm thinking maybe one way of making it less repetitive is having... possibly having specific spots where you need to place your power areas. Like, you have to put a power box here and here and here. So that way you have to kind of plan your base so that your power areas are protected. That could be one thing, and then your power things will give quite a bit more. They'll give like 100 each or something. If I can ever get the big tower, I'd love to see if it works. It's a rarity, I guess. Too rare. I should have just made a button. I didn't think it would be this hard. Alright. One more try here. I mean, at least you guys are getting to look at the gameplay, but it isn't all that exciting yet. Like, just... Damn. It's taking a while. this is probably not the most exciting to watch. I am just going to... It's possible that okay, I made a little mistake. I forgot to add it to the shop. Let's try it again. Yeah, a tower that has something rotating around it, like a kind of like a mace or something. It just kind of whacks the enemies. That could be fun. Here we go. Oh yes, the big one. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, it doesn't... Okay, there is a bug because I can't place it. Okay, I'll have to fix that. Maybe the enemies move indefinitely, but they suffer knockback when they get hit. Not sure what you mean by that, because like the enemies, they already move closer. It's just the only reason why the pink ones stop is because they are ranged enemies. I just haven't made an animation for that yet. I've got my teammate. Sorry, I just had to quickly reply to that. Yeah, let's, I'm gonna debug that. It's probably something to do with this, where is it? I closed the script, but it's this ghost script that tells you if you're able to place a tile by simulating where it is. So I'm probably just gonna do a little thing here that's like, if here, to do this, I'm gonna, let's just do if input get key down. I'm just gonna make a button specifically to spawn that big tower. So key code Q, then I can just copy this code. Except that current tower is just equal to towers, and then it's the last one, so I think that's 4. Ooh, at one point I got up to 6 viewers, right now at 3. Not bad. I'm not sure how I feel about that level up system. I might remove that, but I do like the power system. Oh, there we go. The big tower placed. That's progress. That's excellent. So it seems to actually work fine. I'm not... It's actually kind of incredible. I did not expect that to work so well. I don't know what was going on before, but this big guy is working just fine. And that's pretty awesome to me. Well, this is progress. Yes, it is. I guess what is next? I could go for decorations right now, maybe some visuals. But I think the first thing is just I'm gonna scrap this level system. yeah, I'm gonna scrap the leveling system and instead just make the max power always 200. If the power is greater than the max power, then it simply just clamps that. Power. Yeah, let's clamp it between 0 and max power. So you should never go below 0 either. Just because of how it's coded, I don't think you should get any that are more expensive than you can afford. I guess let's go to working on visuals now. I will have to work on balancing eventually. Ooh, I like how the big tower looks. Ooh, okay, here's a bug. It's not placing again. Alright. So there is actually an issue with the big tower. Okay. I will have to resolve that. Just gonna make you start 100. Okay, let's try this again. You gotta go. Alright. I will see you where I'm. Avoid an X. Have a good one. I'm still here. This is weird. So it seems like it's only an issue around the teleporters. Yeah, we do need to get rid of those bugs. Annoying ones. But that. Let's just spam. Oh, when's it gonna give me a teleporter? There we go. Or, what is this, a force field? Okay, so let's get a big one. So here I can place it again just fine. So I'm really not sure what was going on there. This selection thing is kind of small. I might make it grow with the scale. I feel like that would give it a little bit of more polished look. I'll just yeah. I'll come back to that bug in just a second. Actually, no, I'm in this. Here, I'll just put a to-do here. Debug thing with big tower. Sometimes not working. What's that? I don't. Is that Korean? I'm not sure. What'd you put? Siwanhan. What was that? Let's try this here. So big tower is able to be placed around other big tower. Translate, cool. Thank you. It's possible, so I never considered this, but it's possible that You see these all have colliders? It's this one's collider might be it's not larger. It doesn't have anything that blocks. Okay, it must be something else. I'm gonna come back to that. Let's get some cool visuals. I was thinking a pattern on the floor would look cool, like maybe some wires. I'm just gonna try and find some reference. Because I'm no artist. I'm not even the artist for this project, but I'd like to add some visual polish to the areas I can. Yeah, it's a pixel art project. Well, let's see, like, I've got decorate the arena, but I don't really have any decorations at the moment. I can add some decorations to the floor. I mean, the last thing I can do is I can close the game loop by adding a menu. Or, actually, I think I'm going to work on balancing. So, there's one thing here. I've got to add a condition to determine when you can place your next tower. And I think I'll just have a timer here. So, I think on the canvas, where would be a good spot to put this timer? I could probably put it here, and then it could just count down like, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then show you the cost. I think that would work. So let's just get this. I'm gonna create. Right here, it's just game stats, and then here's gonna be like a. Here's going to be your constant integer for, this will be like tower placement interval. And you can just set that to 10, and then you've got private float for our tower placement timer. And then underneath this, just going to spawn timer. Let's see what's time or no, not spawn timer. Tower placement timer. And then just a very simple timer here. Tower placement timer. Oops. Tower placement interval. Then tower placement timer is going to equal 0. Capital T. And then it'll no longer be locked, and you'll be able to place a tower. So here I'll just create a variable inside my game manager, and this will be like public bool placement locked, and then this will just have a private set equal to false. Tower placement timer and placement locked equals true, or false, I mean. And Of course, you're only going to go into this loop if you're not allowed to, or you're only going to go to this section if you're not allowed to place it. So the timer is going to increase, and I'm also going to UI manager. Oh, hey, what's up? Update timer text. Integer value. Monkey. Yes. If you want to see the progress on the game, I'll be showing that in just a second. Seconds dot toString. So this is just going to be a simple countdown. Text. I forgot to make that public. Oh no, it is public. This, and then I'm just going to round this to an integer, which is the power placement timer. But I'd like it to count down ideally, so I'm going to subtract that from the interval. And then in here, right at the top here, it's just going to be if game manager placement locked, then you're just going to return out. Otherwise, I've got to update this text somehow. Let me just see how this turns out before I do that. Okay, so I'm spamming it and it's not counting down, so there's something a little bit wrong here. So once I place a tower here, public void, and then I'll just make this fully public. Give that both a get and a set. So inside here, when I place a tower, I will also get a manager instance and then lock the placement for 10 seconds. Oh, I changed this one. That should work. So the text should break when I... 9 legs. Really? Let me check. I don't know how to see. So, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And now I can place it. go. And I can just do this. I'll just update that every frame. It's not too expensive. It's just updating text. Actually, I don't think that's a good way to do it. Right here. Let's see if that does what I think. Yeah, 20 hours. Actually, 21 hours. Man, Unity's starting to slow down a little bit. Alright, so I can buy one. It gives me 10 seconds. Then once that 10 seconds is up, there we go. Then it gives me a new one. Although I'd like it to... I'd like that to update like immediately. I think I can do something like this. So that will update the sprite, and then it'll update the text after. It's kind of a hacky way to do it, since I'm updating the text every frame. But it's better than just doing a check after, because that's too much work. So here it's gonna count down. I'll make that count a little smaller. And boom. Okay, good. There we go. And one more thing here is that the timer's kind of janky here. Where am I updating the timer? Right here. Floor to end is gonna make it so it's not updating on every half second, because when it was rounding before, if it was above 0.5, it would say it was the higher number, and then below 0.5 it would say it was the lower number. Here it's just always going to be that number. It's just going to take the first number. And I can just add 1 to that if I don't want it to go to 0. Yeah, I think that looks good. I can also just take the ceiling, the seal. So I think that is good. And now I'm just gonna change the timer placement interval here. And let's make that like 5 seconds, because I think 10 seconds is a little too difficult. Nobody's gonna be able to do that. Oh, somebody just joined. Hello. I don't quite know who is there, but if you're enjoying the stream, I guess that's good. So here you're gonna wait 5 seconds, place another one. Now I've just gotta add a few more layers of strategy to this. I'll have the big buddy. There we go. See, it's not placing. You can hear. That's the bug. Oh, and there it is. Okay, so if I had to guess, I'd say that is a little bug with this, the grid. Okay, so simple solution, maybe. Just make each of these hitboxes small because they don't need to be large. Just make them a little smaller than they have to be so it doesn't accidentally hit the corner. Because I think what it's doing is because it's a larger object, it's offsetting the raycast. Because I told it to, because larger objects will need to be offset because a 2x2 object doesn't actually sit in the center of any grid cell. I think by it offsetting the raycast, I'm offsetting it a little too far and hitting the corner of the next hitbox. So to counteract that, I'm just going to make the hitbox smaller. Very, very bad solution, but it doesn't take any work, so who's really losing? Here come the enemies. There's not really a whole lot of strategy going on. I feel like I'm just spamming. I guess that's what balancing is for. And here I'm out. I just lost. But, not too bad. I guess I'll start completing the game loop here, so this is just going to be a protect. Move that up. It doesn't need an explosion prefab yet. Yeah. Yep. And yep. And yep. Okay. What is next? What is next? I basically just have decoration stuff next, but I really wanna like fully flesh out the game loop because right now it's not. The game loop, like the game just kind of sucks, if you know what I mean. It might look cool and feel cool, but it's a boring game. I need to add some sort of rules here. A little more depth to it. A little more strategy. Anybody got any ideas? Any suggestions? Like at this point, I'm really open to taking any suggestions that you guys can think of to make it more fun. In fact, actually, I'm gonna build the game real quick. I'm gonna share it on. I'm gonna create an itch.io page for it, and I'd like you guys. If anyone's watching right now, I'd like you guys to just go and try it and just give me a little bit of feedback, if that's alright. Because I'm a little stuck on this right now. Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna stop the video for a second while I export and build the game. But you'll still be able to listen to me. I'll be sharing the link in the chat in just a minute. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, okay. I'll just have to like look up. I was thinking maybe of wires, like your AI as you go, gets wires that he kind of builds, and that's how you collaborate, because if you build along the wires, then you get bonuses. But I'm not sure about that AI, mostly because it's really complicated. I'd like the AI to do a little more. Like, maybe the AI decides the bonuses for you. That could be interesting. Okay. Just packaging the game and putting it on the page. I like your idea though of the bonuses. Alright, video is back. And I will drop the link in just a moment once I find it. Hello, I like your videos. Well, thank you. Do you have any videos in particular that you like? Because I haven't uploaded too much programming related content. Alright, here's the link to the page. You guys can go try that out. While you're doing that, I'm gonna do a little bit of brainstorming. Yeah, I'm gonna brainstorm a few ideas here. I'm just gonna do this on a blank. Just make a blank text document. Alright, let's come up with a few ideas. Yeah, if anybody has any ideas about this concept, or you have any questions about the game, feel free to leave those in the chat and I'll try my best to answer them. Okay, I'm seeing some stuff here like relevance on small scale and large scale. So it needs to have strategy both micro and macro. Within small clusters. Alright, high risk, high reward. High risk, high reward. How will I implement this? Okay. variety between runs. I'm just gonna add this little bit of placeholder text under each of these. Let me know when you guys have tried out the game. Like, any of you, just... Hello, somebody new joined, I think. Welcome. Needs to have balance. Yeah, exactly. That's what I found. Gameplay is definitely lacking. Here's this little text document here. I don't know if you want me to like zoom in. There we go. So it needs to have balance, so not rely on chance to win. How will I implement this? So since I've still got 2 days left, I think there's a bit of time to switch around the gameplay. Alright. And it needs to be simple to play. Or needs to be simple to learn. And then just I implement this. So there's quite a few different things. There's quite a few different things that I need. I'm just looking at. Yeah, it does look scary with all these. There's so many things on it, but I'm sure that once you start knocking out one thing at a time, it'll really cascade and really help us fill out the whole list. Oh, hello. Christian to Bizrat. Hello. Do you want an update on how the game's looking? I will give you a bit of an update on how the game is. How it's going. So, you've got this core you've got to protect from these scary circles. You've got this power you've got to worry about, and you've got this AI which decides your next tower based on these different factors. So in this case, there's a 5-second delay between placing towers, and it's quite difficult at the moment, which is what we're trying to balance right now. I'm trying to figure out a way to make the gameplay a little more interesting, because as you can see, it's not the most interesting game at the moment. And here we go, we're dead, so if I made this, do you have any chance of winning? I mean, I don't even have any chance of winning right now. I don't even know how to win yet. So, no. Yeah, so it's a tower defense. Which currently has no balancing. I'm gonna keep repeating myself because it's important that everyone hears. Yep. Tower defense. New people have just joined. Hello. Yeah, so there is a wall tower, but it's kind of rare at the moment. I'm gonna make that a little more. Yeah, it really just needs a hell of a lot of balancing. Like, for example, the only time you're ever gonna get one of these is when you got a lot of stuff. Yeah, so this is a 1 day. Yeah, this is just day 1 progress. I did recycle a little bit of code from an old project for the selection. Thank you. I hope I can do this. Although progress will be slowing down over the next few days. This was just like a full sprint to get everything down. Yeah, so I did recycle this little system where I can click and see the radius and everything. So click and see the radius, and then here you've got shield, you can click and you can see the radius. And the health bars I also recycled. I am filled with determination. That is true. It's honestly, it is kind of fun to play, but it's also extremely difficult. Like, it's not possible at this point. I think I'm gonna try to just get more mechanics, if that makes sense. I can balance it once I've got all of the mechanics that I want. Yeah, I guess so. Back to this. In order to make a good strategy game, it has to be relevant on a small scale and both a large scale. Sorry, looking at chat. Did you use any sprites? Yeah, so I'm working with an artist who made he made just this little computer here, and tomorrow he'll be making sprites for the turrets. So this is just a temporary turret sprite that he made. He'll be making sprites for all the different buildings and all of the enemies, hopefully. Like, I really like how that computer looks. Yeah, I've got an artist. He hasn't made any very many final sprites yet, but we're getting there. So, back to this. The game needs to be relevant on a small scale and a large scale. So I've got to figure out a way to make the game relevant on both a small scale and a large scale. So you've got your small collections of buildings and your big collection of buildings. My team's just me and the artist. The game needs to reward high risk. The game needs to have variety in between runs. The game needs to have balance and not rely on chance, and the game needs to be simple to learn. Now that's a lot. That's a lot to cover. But yeah, back to your question. My team is just me and the artist. Okay. So, I guess we can tackle these issues one at a time all together. So, it needs to have relevance on small scales. So, I think the first step to implementing this to relevance on small scales is maybe like Ivan said, where you have bonuses for groups of buildings, maybe. So bonuses for building placement. And I guess the bonuses will be like bonuses, and this will be like attack power or something like that. We can call this like damage and attack speed. I'm just gonna simplify this even more, just stats. For building placement, maybe, and then here just on specific tiles, or with specific groups. You hope I win? I really doubt that, but I wouldn't say it's impossible, since I've done quite a few game jams before. I would consider myself experienced, but I'd say I still have a lot ways to go before I'm ever close to winning. Okay, how will we keep the game relevant on a large scale? So here's our small scale. For the large scale, to keep the game relevant on a large scale, so yeah, I like the idea of building bonuses for stats for placing buildings on specific tiles or with specific groups of buildings. To keep the game relevant on a large scale, maybe groups of buildings must be supplied with power. How about they must be within a certain range of power tiles? Yeah, so there's one big building. There's one 2x2. But it's kind of scuffed right now, if I'm going to be honest. It's not really final. But yes, there is one big building that I can hopefully get a good sprite for. So you seem to be pretty active in the chat. Any ideas on how to keep the game relevant on a large scale? So looking at your whole base. How do I link that all together? Because I am not an idea guy. Connecting towers. Yeah, so that's sort of the idea that I had. I'm not really sure. Should the AI do that automatically? Like, maybe it takes a certain amount of time. So maybe the AI will build wires between towers or something like that. Further groups of towers take longer to become connected to the power and usable. There we go. And how about one thing for both is this is a perfect idea. Alright, thank you. Maybe one thing for both is that there are only specific places where you can place power tiles. So like special spots for them. There'll be special spots, and maybe those special spots, special randomized places for them. And that's how I keep variety between runs, because one, the places for power tiles are randomized. Or the places which allow power tiles high risk, high reward, I guess. Stronger power tiles can be found closer to the enemy spawn. Yeah. Enemy spawn. So, just encouraging the player to go closer in order to become stronger. So it needs to have balance and not rely on chance to win. How will I implement this? I'll get back to that one. Needs to be simple to learn. I mean, I guess needing to be simple to learn is kind of just a basic. It's not really a technique to that. Hello. Nadir. Hi, would you like to see what we've got at the game so far? We're trying to give it some more balance, some more variety. So we've got this little tower defense where you're trying to protect your core, which is this AI thing. So you can move your camera around, and you can place these tiles. So the AI will randomly select a new tile for you to place, and you can place that wherever you like. The only thing is that it costs power, and when you get too low on power, the AI will force you to build more power. Currently the balancing is really bad, so it's basically impossible, but yeah, it's interesting, so yeah. But yes, it is impossible. Alright. Well, I guess I should get to... I'm probably going to end the stream in a little while, but... I think I can get to placing... I want to do one of these. I'm just gonna quickly, or I'll send this to my teammate at the end. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream now. If you guys want me to continue this tomorrow, then just let me know, and I'll be streaming tomorrow as well, probably a little earlier. And I'll talk these ideas over with my teammate, and I'll probably be implementing all of this tomorrow, and then the final day will just be for polish and balancing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, but I'm gonna go for now. Have a good night.